John joining me right now with more on how Tuesday's elections could impact healthcare reform. Julie Rajinski, Democratic strategist and CNBC contributor. Also Ben Ferguson, syndicated talk radio host at Icon Radio Network. Great to see you guys. Julie, I'll kick it off with you here. Is this, in fact, a wake-up call for Democrats that Americans don't want any kind of health care reform?
No, I think these were very parochial elections based on local issues. I think here in New Jersey, John Corzine lost because of John Corzine. It had nothing to do with him being a Democrat.
Well, Ben, how much do you buy? How much of that is Democratic spin, and how much of that do you think is real?
I have never genuinely enjoyed hearing spin this much in my entire life. Last night was about buyer's remorse. That's what this has to deal with. The President of the United States of America kicked some serious tail in New Jersey in the presidential election a year ago. He kicked some serious tail in Virginia, and he got obliterated there. Second of all, why New York 23rd was actually a victory, even though the guy didn't win, was he was in single digits 5 weeks before Election Day when the Republican Party picked someone that was not a true Republican, gave over $2 million, and then proving that conservatives were right, she endorsed the Democratic candidate and a guy out of nowhere that had nothing on paper.
If I can just point something out, this is exactly the kind of rhetoric that will destroy the Republican Party next year, because that's a sign.
Fine. We won, you lost.
What Ben is saying is they're going to go after Charlie Crist in Florida and X. They're going to keep marginalizing moderate Republicans.
Then let us.
And congratulations. I really hope you do. Because
no, let us. Because last night, we won and you lost.
No,
and that's the way it was.
Actually, that's not the case at all. I think incumbents lost. I don't think that the Republican Party won.
Ben,
this has incentivized you to go after moderate Republicans. I hope you do it.
Ben, hang on one second. You said in some notes I'm looking through right here, you said you're calling this a win for conservatives, but not necessarily Republicans.
Absolutely.
So I want to hold you to that. What do you mean?
Michael Steele needs to not say anything about this because he wasn't, and he didn't do any of this. The Republican Party and the GOP did not do this. True conservatives did what happened last night, and I'm telling you, when you spend $2 million in the 23rd for your Republican candidate, and then she has to drop out, and then she proves who she really is by endorsing a Democrat, it tells you how off the mark the Republican Party is.
Can I tell you why that's not the case? The Republican in New Jersey, Chris Christie, won in a primary against.
Let me broaden it out.
Let me finish my thought. Against a right-wing Republican candidate, he ran as a moderate Republican. If you want to take out moderate Republicans next year as a Democrat, I welcome you to do it. You will keep losing elections.
Both of you, let me bring this back to healthcare, if I may. It occurs to me, Ben, that basically the Democrats had difficulty turning out the minority voters, some of the first-time voters, arguably the people that actually might support healthcare, that put Obama into power in the first instance. Now, how does the Obama camp, can the Obama camp reconnect with those people in order to ensure that healthcare is on the books next year?
What won the election for Barack Obama was the fact that it was a historical election. He turned out young people like never before. They did not show up last night. He turned out first-time voters like never before. They did not show up last time. It was like going to a concert
it wasn't
the first
a
time.
referendum on healthcare, perhaps, Ben.
But that's what I'm telling you. When it comes to healthcare reform, this is the problem he's going to have now. Is the reality is the polls show that the majority of Americans are against the reform they're trying to ram down our throats. And if he's not careful, it's going to get him in trouble.
This means nothing whatsoever for healthcare reform.
The exit polls showed last night that the #2 in New Jersey, as well in Virginia, the #2 thing on people's minds was healthcare. Number one was the insane spending that is connected to Barack Obama. You can spin it how you want to, but last night, #2 was healthcare.
As somebody who's in New Jersey, the #1 issue in New Jersey was taxes, and the #2 issue was jobs. Healthcare was not even the bottom of the barrel.
But Julie, aren't those national issues? I mean, we're talking about the economy, we're talking about jobs. Healthcare reform is part of that because it means more money in the way of taxes to pay for all of this.
Well, actually, I don't know that any healthcare plan that I've seen is not paid for, and I actually disagree with that premise. But I will say, what I will say at the end of the day is that healthcare reform is going to be up in front of the Congress, either in the end of part of this year or the beginning part of next year. I believe it will pass. I believe what happened in Virginia or New Jersey is not going to sway one vote.
Last night's election was about national issues. That's the reason why the president showed up in both of these states to stump for these people, because it was about national issues. It was about health care. It was about the economy.
Okay, so Ben,
do
you think health care is going to go on the back burner? Do you think it's a political suicide to, in fact, go down that path?
I'm
as we
telling
head
you,
to midterms.
he's going to have to, the Obama administration is going to have to make some concessions now to Democrats and others in their party. They're saying, look, I just watched some things happen last night, 9 months after you got into office, that scare me. You're not as popular as you used to be, and you're going to have to make this a little bit more realistic for America to handle with not such a big price tag. And if they continue to push it, these guys are going to lose their midterm election.